What is up, MSM? It is great to see you. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sam. Let's get straight to our announcements this week. The first thing we have is that we are in our brand new series called Fam, where we'll be discovering what it takes to actually love and care for our family, which is sometimes really difficult. It can be really difficult sometimes. So we've got a reading plan to do with that as well. You can do this throughout the week. What's cool about it is that it coincides with what you're learning on a Sunday too. So you're not lost in the Bible going, why are we reading this? There's actually some purpose behind it, and it's going to make sense and click with what you're learning on Sundays too. So there's two ways that you can join this. First is through the YouVersion app. You can get to that by going to the link below. You can click the link in the email that I send out to your parents each week, or you can also go to our Instagram page if you have social media. Click on the link on our Instagram page, and there'll be a little link tree there for you that gets you straight to the plan. If you have any trouble with that whatsoever, please let me know. Let a parent know. We would love to be able to help you get in on reading the Bible through the YouVersion app, because it's really cool. You get to make comments and see what other people have to say about what we're reading as well, which is just another way to build community and to actually deepen our relationship with Scripture. If you want to do the paper option, that is fantastic as well. We'll be emailing that out every week to your parents too. I like that option too, because there's just something about putting pencil to paper, putting a pen to paper maybe too, and reading. What is up, MSM? It is great to see you. We are in week 1 of our series called Fam, where we're going to be learning what it takes to maintain friendship with our family. We're going to learn what it takes to actually love our family. We're headed into the holiday season, so we need an extra dose of grace and love, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness injected into our holiday season. We need that because we want to not just be family, but we want to be friends with each other as well. That extra layer of relationship that's there when we actually respect each other and love each other. So today, the question we want to get to is, what do we do when we understand we might be family with this person, but it doesn't feel like we're friends? What do we do when we understand, yes, I am family, they are family, but in this moment where we sit, we ain't friends, right? You might have gotten there this week when somebody told you to go clean your room, and you're like, my room's already clean. At least that was always my response. Maybe mom or dad said it's time for bed, and you were like, but I haven't gotten to what I wanted to get to today. I haven't done what I wanted to do. It's not fair that they get to stay up later than me. They're not that much older. Maybe this happened to you this week when somebody took a controller away from you, or they borrowed something without asking, right? They borrowed your shirt and you're like, I can't believe they would do that. They took your device without asking, and it really hurt you. You weren't trying to be petty. You weren't trying to be angry, but it hurt you, and you don't feel like there's that level of friendship there in your family at that moment. You understand your family, but in that moment, we ain't friends. So today we're going to take a look at two brothers in the Bible. Their names are Moses and Aaron. And these two brothers are an amazing example of what it looks like to not just be family, but also be friends as well, because there's an opportunity for them to separate. And we'll see what they actually do. Because I believe that family is at its best when we are friends too. Family functions the way it was designed to by God when we are friends too. That's when we're at our strongest, when we're actually friends with our family. So let's get into it today. Moses and Aaron were two brothers, right? Grew up in the same household. They understood who liked what. They understood each other's habits, each other's quirks, each other's temperaments, what got on each other's nerves. But they also understood each other's strengths. That's really cool. One day, God approached Moses, spoke to Moses, and said, you know what? I know that I see the nation of Israel needs my help as God. I want you to go set the nation of Israel free, take them out of Egypt. Because at the time in history, God's people, Israel, were actually enslaved by the nation of Egypt. Horrible things were going on. People were being mistreated and hurt and taken advantage of. So God saw it, and he sent Moses to help fix the problem. Ultimately, God's the creator. He's the one who made that happen, but he wants to use and help bring Moses and Aaron in on this as well. Not just do it all on his own, but we get to go to work with him. So that's kind of cool too. God could have done it on his own, but he chose to use Moses and Aaron as well. And I think part of the reason why he did that is so that we could read this today and figure out how to be friends with our family as well. So they're going on this big mission. God shows up, talks to Moses. He says, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go in and you're going to set the nation of Israel free. You're going to talk to Pharaoh. You're going to lead them out of slavery and into freedom. It's going to be so big, there's going to be a book of the Bible about you. Well, he didn't tell him that yet, but that's what ended up happening. So Moses goes on this big mission. And where we're going to pick up today is in Exodus chapter 6, verses 28 and 29. This is in the Old Testament, so life before Jesus was on earth. If you want to turn there with me in your Bibles or on your phone, you can do that. It's Exodus chapter 6, verses 28 and 29. This is where we're going to be spending the bulk of our time camping out in Scripture today. It says this: when the Lord spoke to Moses in the land of Egypt, he said to him, I am the Lord. Tell Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, everything I'm telling you. So starts with instructions. Hey, do what I say. But Moses argued with the Lord. Probably going to lose that argument. God's pretty smart. Moses argued with the Lord saying, I can't do it. I'm such a clumsy speaker. Why should Pharaoh listen to me? Then the Lord said to Moses, pay close attention to this. I will make you seem like a god to Pharaoh, bigger than what you actually are, more intimidating than what you actually are, smarter than what you actually are. I'll make you seem like that. And your brother, Aaron, will be your prophet. In other words, he'll speak for you. Tell Aaron everything I command you. And Aaron must command Pharaoh to let the people of Israel leave the country. Lots of stuff goes on in the in-between stages of that message to Moses and the people of Israel actually being set free. I highly encourage you to go back and to read it. It's some awesome stuff. One of the things is that we want to pull from this is that it's okay to enter into a dialogue with God. We're in God's family. It's okay for us to be like, I don't think I can handle this. I don't think I'm up for the challenge. It's good to be honest with him about what we feel, even though he already knows, because God will be faithful in getting us what we need in order to accomplish what he has for us. Now, here's the cool thing, right? Here's the really, really awesome thing, is that Moses took on this massive mission and Aaron was right there with him every step of the way. Like, as they walk up, I would imagine those two brothers looking at each other like, you ready for this? Yeah, I am. You ready? No. Are you sure about this? No. But we're going to do it anyway because God told us to, and I know he's going to take care of us. They covered each other's weaknesses. Y'all, this is a perfect example of what it means for family to be at its best when they're friends as well. Because Moses and Aaron go on this mission. They walk in to Pharaoh's kingdom and they say, hey, you are messing up. You got to do this the right way and let these people go. And Pharaoh goes on an absolute rage fest of, no, I'm not going to do it. 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 So several times they go back and forth. Hey, you need to do this. And Pharaoh says, no, absolutely not. But every time they went to Pharaoh, Aaron was right there with them. Aaron was right there beside Moses. And he was speaking what God told Moses to say. He could have, when Moses brought this plan to him, said, you know what? Peace. I'm out of here. Like, Moses, you've had some wild ideas in the past, but this one's the most out there. I don't think I can support you in this. I don't think I'm going to be there for you on this adventure. I was there in the past, and now that you've settled down, we kind of had some common ground. But now, Moses, you know what? I got a family to take care of. I got sheep to take care of. I got a nice front porch that I can sit on. I got grandkids on the way. I got more kids on the way, whatever he had going at the time. I'm kind of out. But that's not what Aaron decided to do. He knew that family was at its best when they were friends too. So how do we actually do that? We do exactly what Moses and Aaron did. And really, what Aaron did. When an opportunity arose for them to separate, he chose to support. When an opportunity arose for them to separate, he supported Moses. And Moses actually did something really cool too. Don't want to not give Moses credit. He had to ask for his brother's help. So when he could have separated from his brother and went, I got a lot of work to do. I better dip on my family. He asked for Aaron's help. And he was humble enough to say, hey, Aaron, you talk good words. I don't. Would you be able to come alongside me and help? And together, they covered each other's weaknesses. It says in the Bible that Moses actually had a speech impediment. He had a lisp. So Moses wasn't just being like, hey, I really don't have time for this. I've got a couple soccer games coming up. I really don't want to be a part of this thing. I need to peace out. No, that's not what Moses was doing. He was literally insecure about his ability to do what God told him to do. And so when Moses and Aaron could have separated, they chose to support each other. And that ultimately led to the nation of Israel being set free and God's people being taken care of, which is a really, really great thing. And that's exactly what happens to us as well. But what's the lie that we believe? The lie that we believe is that we're better on our own. We're better as individuals. As a matter of fact, our brother, our sister, our mom, our dad, they tend to complicate things, right? They tend to mess everything up. Well, they don't know what they're doing, and I'm not sure they would be able to handle it, and I'm better on my own. That's the lie that we like to believe. But in reality, what the Bible teaches us, what God is trying to impress upon our hearts, is that the better way, the truth of the matter, is that family is actually at its best when we do rely on each other and when we choose to support each other instead of separating. When we choose to support each other instead of separating. Now, does this mean that we always support everything our family does? Absolutely not. Sometimes our family messes up. Mine did. Mine still does. And I still do as well. Sometimes being family and supporting one another looks like having tough conversations with them. My brother was so great at this growing up. Whenever I would get hot-tempered, which was fairly often when I was in probably middle school age, I used to have a really hot temper. I'd get angry really, really quickly about silly little things. About things people said or things people did or what they didn't say or what they didn't do, right? And he always used to look at me. Sometimes I'd even get upset at him. And he'd always look at me and say, do you really need to be upset about this? Do you really think that's what they meant? He'd just ask me questions. He's like, do you think you should be that upset about this? I don't know if that's what they meant. Why don't you sleep on it for a little bit and see if you're still upset about it in the morning and then talk to the person? Before texting them, why don't you take a breath? And that really, really helped me. He could have chose to dip on me, right? He could have chose to separate from me. He could have said, you know what, you're hot-tempered. I don't know what to do with you. I don't have that issue, so you need to figure it out and get yourself together before we can continue to have a relationship. But no, he didn't do that. Every time I got frustrated with him too, he would be slow to anger, just like Jesus, just like God is. He wasn't always perfect, but he was pretty close to it, right? He did so well with responding in kindness and in patience. And what was he doing? He was being just like Moses and Aaron. Instead of choosing to separate, he chose to support and have the hard conversation. So maybe you need to have a difficult conversation with a family member and say, hey, listen, I know you're upset about this, but please know I didn't mean that. I know I should have asked before I borrowed, but please know I didn't mean to hurt you. Hey, I know I messed up. I should have went to bed on time. Hey, I know I should have done my homework. I know I should have cleaned my room. I know I should have been nicer to my sibling. But I do apologize for that, and I want to know how I can do better. I want to know how I can love you more accurately and how I can choose to support you. I know you were stressed, Mom and Dad, so let me help. Things like that. When we can separate, we choose to support. Maybe have a difficult conversation with them. I guarantee there's going to be growth on the other side for us. So in closing, here's what I want to ask us. This week, how can you choose to support your family instead of separate from your family. It's going to be really easy to do that over these next couple months. Stress is going to be high. Tension might come into our family about where we're going, whose house we're seeing. Are we going to get there on time? Why aren't you ready by now? We've got a lot to do. The opportunity for separation will be there. But I would encourage you to think about ways that instead of separating from your family this week, this month, this year, you can actually choose to support them. Maybe it's having a difficult conversation. Maybe it's giving them grace. Maybe it's forgiving somebody in your family and saying, you know what? I know they didn't mean that. Whatever that is, though, we would love to be able to connect with you about that, so you can feel free to drop it in the comments or get ready for your small group experience as well. We can't wait to talk with you about how, when the opportunity arises to separate from our family, we can choose to support our family. Peace.
God of creation, there at the start, before the beginning of time. With no point of reference, you spoke to the dark and fleshed out the wonder of light. And as you speak, 100 billion galaxies are born. In the vapor of your breath, the planets form. The stars were made to worship, so will I. I can see your heart in everything you've made. Every burning star, a signal fire of grace. If creation sings your praises, so will I. So will I. God of your promise, you don't speak in vain, no syllable empty or void. For once you have spoken, all nature and science follow the sound of your voice. And as you speak, 100 billion creatures catch your breath, evolving in pursuit of what you said. If it all reveals your nature, so will I. I can see your heart in everything you say. Every painted sky, a canvas of your grace. Creation still obeys you, so will I. So will I. If the stars were made to worship, so will I. Come on. If the mountains bow in reverence, so will I. I'll sing that of the oceans. If the oceans roar in greatness, so will I. For if everything exists to lift you high, so will I. If the wind goes where you send it, so will I. If the rocks cry out in silence, so will I. Oh, if the sum of all our praise still rolls high, we'll sing again God of salvation. You chased down my heart through all of my failure and pride. On a hill you created, the light of the world, abandoned in darkness to die. And as you speak, 100 billion failures disappear. Where you lost your life so I could find it here. If you left the grave behind you, so will I. I can see your heart in everything you've done. Every part designed in a work of art called love. If you gladly chose surrender, so will I. I can see your heart 8 billion different ways. Every precious one, a child you died to save. If you gave your life to love them, so will I. Like you would again 100 billion times. But what measure could amount to your desire? You're the one who never leaves the one behind. You're the one who never leaves the one behind. You declare it, Lord. You're the one who never leaves the one behind. We don't have the words for this, but if you know it, sing it. Amazing grace, how sweet